I'll just give Instagram a minute to do its thing so that people can hop in. Once you're here, just say hi. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Hope you all had an amazing weekend. People in the US, hope you had an amazing 4th of July weekend. Just to give you a brief, my guest for tonight is Kirstie Kraus. She's an incredible singer, a singer-songwriter all the way from Nashville. And she just released her new single, Bird. It's out now. It's available on all streaming platforms, so make sure to check it out. And we'll talk more about it when I have her on. I'll just give it a minute so that people can hop in, and I'll just get started. She is on. Hey guys, hello. Let's just get started.
Hey,
Hello.
how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Do you normally get
Welcome
ready
to
for
India.
bed? Yeah, thank you. This is my first India feature, so I'm like super excited and thank you for having me. This is way cool.
Of course, of course. And yes, we're all ready to go to bed, but we go on later, so that's
Yeah,
okay.
I was like, what
I
time
sleep around,
zones?
yeah,
I was like, what would
it's
work?
10
You
p.m.
tell
right now.
me. I don't know.
It's 10 p.m. I sleep around 3 a.m., so it's totally fine.
Gotcha, gotcha. Well,
Firstly,
guys,
congratulations on an amazing release, amazing song. We'll get to that in a minute, but for people tuning in from here, would you want to give a little backstory of where you came from and all that good stuff?
yeah, I am living in the States. I now live in Nashville. I'm based out of Nashville for the last 3.5 years. I'm one of those lifers. So I've been doing music my entire life, literally since I was 2, jumping up on picnic
Wow.
tables and performing, and started writing music, full songs with other people when I was 12, and just really dove
Oh my
into
God.
that and started making trips to Nashville when I was 15. I am from the Midwest, so I'm up in the Midwest right now on a tour, and I'm about to fly back to Nashville to do a big music festival for this next weekend. So just
That's
preparing for all of
amazing.
that, and yeah, going into the radio
That's
stations tomorrow and all that stuff. So this is what every day looks like for me.
that is amazing. And I know you got into music like when you were really young, but was there like a defining moment where you thought, okay, this could be my career?
Well, I have it documented on a piece of paper. And in school, like they ask you, when I grow up, I want to be, and then they have little like,
Mm-hmm.
the lined paper with like the middle dashes in it so you can
Yeah.
like start learning to write. And I have
Uh-huh.
never been good at spelling, but I wrote a singer, and it was like
Wow.
SINGR, but we get the point. So that was kind of like the defining moment where on piece of paper I had declared that's what I'm going to do. Yeah. And so like I just wrote a song recently called Fourth Grade Me, and that was with the co-writer, and it's
Wow.
it's basically about like living up to your young, your fourth grade self, being like,
Uh-huh.
here's what I envision I'm going to be someday, and it's a pretty
That is
inspirational
amazing.
song. So it's just fun. Yeah.
That is so cool. And do you come from a musical family? Do any of your family members sing as well?
Not really. My grandma does sing at church though, and she
Okay.
just kind of covers the alto section. I don't think she ever really like fully developed it. She's just always just kind of sang at church because that's what makes her feel good. They still put her
Mm-hmm.
in the front row by the mic, so but I've never actually heard
That is
her
amazing.
voice by herself. You know what I mean? So I don't really come from a musical family. But I think my dad is like a secret entertainer, like
Singer.
performer. I think if he would have had that be fostered growing up,
Uh-huh.
he would have been like an actor or something for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it is actually safe to say it runs in the family, huh?
I think being outgoing and being very talkative and being, the funny person in the group, like I think that runs in the family for sure.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so coming to country music, like did you grow up listening to country music? How did you choose that to be like one of your main genres?
Oh, I love it. I actually started listening to like Amy Grant and Gloria Estefan really young, and then it
What?
was like Celine Dion and Christina Aguilera and Whitney. But then
Uh-huh.
Shania Twain was doing that crossover thing, and Leanne Rimes
True.
came out, and so I was 7 when I was really started going like my first country concerts, and that's what crossed me over into country music, and then from there it
Wow.
was I just loved it. I just
That
felt
is
like I
awesome.
identified with it. I loved the way their voices sound. I felt like my voice could resonate with that, and so I yeah, country music, and I still know like all the words to all like the 90s and 80s country. Maybe less of the 80s country, but yeah, lots of the 90s country.
That is amazing. I love that. Okay, for people watching in and tuning in from here, how would you describe your sound?
Ooh, okay. So I definitely do have my own sound. I think some people
True.
come up to shows and they reference Jennifer Nettles only because Jennifer Nettles has a unique sound as well. I think that's a big compliment that anyone can give an artist is that they have their own sound. So
Yeah, true.
I kind of have, how I describe it is like a happy Stevie Nicks with like some
Oh my God, yes.
Amy Grant fun melodies and like a Jody Messina kind
Oh
of Faith
yes.
Hill texture, if you will. But yeah, it's definitely it's kind of like a version of country music with like a blues rock funk
True.
undertoning,
True.
like underlying
I'm
tones.
just gonna
Yeah.
I'm just gonna
Hey,
add to that and say a little bit of sass too, especially
with
in
a
like the
sprinkle of
bird.
sass. For
Yeah,
sure.
sprinkle of sass, that's true. And coming to your latest release, let's talk about Bird. That's an amazing, amazing song. You
Thank you.
cannot not sing along and rock to it. But how did that song come about? Can you like walk us through the whole process of that?
Ooh, yeah. Okay, so that song made it to the record. Oh shoot, I was gonna grab one before I got on, but I actually came up with the idea January 19th
Mhm.
of 2019. And I know
Wow,
this,
it's 2 years.
yeah, I know this only because I looked it up on Google Docs. And I had it, I thought the title was going to be Grit Your Teeth and Bear It.
Hmm.
And like basically about like the southern version where you're like, oh, bless your heart. But this version is more like, screw you and your negativity. I'm not going to let that get
Exactly.
to me. I'm going to move on. So it was
Uh-huh.
kind of like, I'm going to grit my teeth and be nice to you and just kind of move on. And that's how the whole concept came about. And then we were sitting there like, okay, where are we landing though? What are we like,
Hmm.
where's the ending of the chorus going to like land? And when we came up with Bird, we're like, okay, we got ourselves like, this song
Wow.
was pretty, we wrote it in like 2 hours. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's amazing. At what stage did you come up with the name Bird?
Bird, probably like 45 minutes into the write, like I never want to force a hook if we don't start with the hook.
True.
And
True.
so I really was like, thank you. I was really trying to take it in and be like, okay, what's gonna be the thing that's like,
Mhm.
like that people like resonate with and that's funny.
True.
And how often are you like on the highway or in moments where you're
Uh-huh.
like, "Arr," like,
Yeah.
but you don't, they're like, it's funny, there's moments that happen like that all the time, and like just you don't flip people off, like don't even worry about it, not even let it get under your
Yeah.
skin. So that's what the song's about.
Exactly. I love that. Would you want to sing? Let's hear you sing, and then we'll talk more about your
Yeah,
music.
I can do Bird since we just talked about it. I did
Let's do it.
right before this message my grandma because I'm going in the radio station tomorrow, and she is from lives in my hometown, and I was like, hey grandma, you want me to pick you up? I'll take you there with me. And
Wow.
I think she was just messaging back. So this song is called Bird, and I released it on June 25th, and we are still celebrating all of it. Hope you like it. I never thought I could be affected by criticism, poisoned by your cynicism, lies dim the shine, sound of me, living in a shadow of clouds. But this is my philosophy now. Hey, hey, grit my teeth down, baby, forget it. You ain't even strong enough to steal my pride. Say, don't die, married, Sherry. We somebody else who wants to waste their time. I'm gonna raise my cheeks and smile for you. Just for the record, I ain't cursing now. You ain't worth it now. Get down, desert, baby. My every breath is my currency. I spend it on the positive, loving how I'm dropping. I let her fly, spread her wings, only in the head of my dreams. Read between the corner and ring. Hey, hey, grit my teeth down, baby, forget it. You ain't even strong enough to steal my pride. Shake, don't come, baby, cherry. We somebody else who wants to waste their time. I'm gonna raise my cheeks and smile for you. Just for the record, I ain't cursing now. You ain't worth it now. Can't tell me the baby. I ain't cursing now. You ain't worth it now. You don't deserve baby. Every breath is my currency. I spend it on the positive, loving how I'm dropping it. I ain't cursing now. You ain't worth it now. Get down, desert, baby. I ain't cursing now. You ain't worth it now. You don't deserve, baby. My bird, you don't deserve my baby. My bird, you don't deserve my bird.
That is an awesome kick-ass song. Like, I love it. I love
Thank
it.
you.
I love the live version even more. I love it. Thank you so much for that.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm so glad you
You
like
sound
it.
incredible.
Thank you. Thank you guys for tuning in. We see all your comments too. This is awesome.
Mhm. Yeah, and thank you so much for that. And I also want to talk to you about one more song of yours called Got to Do, because
Yeah.
I think I relate to that so much. I mean, being a country music blogger in India is not easy, but I got to do what I got to do. So I freaking love that song. So how did that song come about?
Ooh, I love it. That song was actually about a moment, like a very specific moment in my life where I'm like, okay, I'm part-time and here I am trying to make these moves to
Mm-hmm.
be full-time with music, and that's where my heart's at. And I feel like after I
Oh my God.
graduated from college, I went and got a sales job, something that
Mm-hmm.
was in my degree, and I was like, this is
Mm-hmm.
great, I'm making money, but this is not as satisfying, and I know what I need to do. So like it was really about sitting there and being like, not even making a comparison table, but just being like, listen,
Mm-hmm.
life is short and I need to do this. And whether that looks like
True.
going in
That is so true.
at the time on the music video, I was driving a short bus around the country with a band and playing shows. And that's, some people are like, that's so weird, well, how could you even do that? And I'm like, but you know what? That makes me happy. So I gotta do what I gotta do, because life is too
Same.
short. Too
That
short.
is so true. I love that song. Like being a country singer, I mean, a country blogger here in India, where like not a lot of people know about country is hard, but I love what I do. So I love that song. It totally spoke to me the minute I heard that.
Awesome. I actually heard good things about you through my friend
Oh my
Bob
God.
Reiser. And then you
Yes.
interviewed Darian Lee and Stephanie. I love all of them. I mean, we all know each other. It's a small community and like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a good community where we all support each other. So that's how I found out about you.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank
Yeah.
you so much for
So
everybody spreading word out there.
absolutely. And what I'm saying is like what you're doing is getting out there, which is so cool.
Oh my God. That makes me so happy. Like I'm doing
Yes.
something right.
Absolutely.
My dream,
Absolutely.
my dream is to eventually like at least visit Nashville, if not move to Nashville. But
When
hopefully,
you
hopefully this blog takes me there.
absolutely okay, when you do, make sure to
I
message
know.
me. Let me know. I'm
For
not that
sure.
far from
For sure.
downtown.
For sure. I'm gonna message everybody that I've had on and it's time for me to meet you guys.
Yeah, we'll do like a
Maybe
little
do a
happy
live
hour.
interview, like face to face.
Yeah, we'll do a happy hour and then we'll just rotate. And you
Yes,
can interview all of us
for
face to
sure.
face.
For sure. We have a plan. Now I
Okay,
can't wait to get down there.
cool, cool.
I love it. I love it. Okay, when it comes to future releases, like what do you have planned? Are you rolling out the singles or do you have an EP planned? What can you talk to us about?
This is what was handed to
Oh
me.
my God.
So this is actually available on my website right now, but it will not be released
Yes.
digitally till later this year. So I have
Oh
been
my God.
sending out
Oh my God.
copies. I sign them at shows. People have been able to grab
Wow.
them in person or off my website. But digitally on all of those platforms, it will be released later this year. So I have
That is
now
amazing.
4 singles off this record, and when you get
Mm-hmm.
the copy of this, it has the bonus track. So it has Gotta Do and it has
Oh my God.
Delusional, this print.
Oh my God.
Otherwise, digitally,
That
they'll
is
just be
amazing.
separate. But I added those as bonus tracks.
That is
Oh,
awesome. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Dom. Nice to have you on here. And I want to talk to you about your debut single, Delusional, right? Like
yes,
it was back in 2018, if I'm not wrong.
yes, my first
2018.
single.
So, yes. So, how would you say you've grown as an artist from that time to today, like till birth? How would you say you've grown as an artist?
The first thing that sticks out to me is vocally. Like vocally, I think when you move to Nashville, you're like, oh wow, here's the bar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I now am in a space like when I moved to Nashville, I was doing music full time. I've been doing music full time for 5 years, so I was really putting myself in Music City. Was like, okay, here's the bar. I have time to focus on this. Let's
Yes.
let's focus on my instrument. So, and so I started going to like voice lessons and just like developing my sound. We spent a long time working on demos and demoing out songs and figuring out what the songs would sound like and how they would cohesively come together in one kind of sound. And Delusional, I really wanted to put out something that was unique for my first song, like something that nobody would expect. Because
Yes.
there's so many artists, right? There's so many blondes and there's so many and so I just wanted to be like, hey, I do country music. Like that song is very much country lyrics, kind of country
Yes.
style in the melody, but the
That's true.
production is like a throwback, totally different.
Yes.
It kind of it
Yes.
threw people, right? Like oh, this is fun and it's kind of country, but it's not. But
Uh-huh.
it's and I really wanted to come out with like, hey, I'm an artist first and foremost,
True.
and like I am not gonna try to fit myself in any sort of box. At some point in my life, I'm going to release all kinds of music. All kinds of music. I think
True.
one day I write a folk song, the next day I write more of like a rocking song, and I think that why suppress any of your creative juices ever? And so,
True.
yeah, like I'm writing a lot of country music right now. That's like kind of my home base, but I love exploring. I love exploring.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, so did you have like other choices as well when you were, choosing your debut single, or was your heart set on Delusion? Like, how did you choose?
That's interesting. There's like a back end to so delusional was a story that happened to me, like kind of pretty much right before
Wow.
I moved, and a male actually slapped me in the ass, and I was like,
Oh my
"What?
God.
What? Why did you do that?" And he was like, "I thought we were having a moment," and I was like, you are mistaken. That was inappropriate. And I was like, you're delusional." And so I felt really compelled to write that. I write a lot of female empowering songs. I write a lot of inspirational songs. And then I write a lot of like angsty relationship, like about, you know, the relation, like being in a relationship and angsty stuff. So those are kind of like the pockets of where I write a lot. But I just felt like I had to get that out there. And then my co-writer who I went to, his name is Craig Wilson. He writes with a lot of artists in Nashville, and he knows people at CMT really well. So I wanted to be able to be introduced and be able to start fostering that relationship as they could watch me grow as an artist. So there was kind of like a, you know, two different reasons there of why I was like, delusional is the song for me.
That's amazing. I love that. Okay, so when it comes to songwriting, like you started off at the age of 12, but when did you take it seriously? Like, I want to like release the songs I wrote. Like, when did that moment happen for you?
I released 3 songs that I wrote officially on digital platforms in my band that I was with in the Midwest of the States. So like around Wisconsin, Illinois is where I would travel a lot, and Iowa and Minnesota. And I released 3 songs, which are out there somewhere, but I took them down from the platforms just because I was like, okay, now it's time to like release the project. But yeah, that's when I knew, like I started with a band. When I was with a band, I called it Thirsty Jones, and eventually we were like Kirstie Kraus and Thirsty Jones, kind of like Joan Hart or Joan Jett and the Blackhearts kind of vibe. And so we would play festivals and we would do original music, and then we would play beer tents and do 4 hours of like just everything with our original music mixed in. So I was really writing for the band at the time, so our originals would like fit right in to the groove of the night. They'd be like party songs, they'd be really fun. And then I got to the point where I was like, okay, this is cool, but I want to write for me, like not for the setting, not for certain settings, not for anything, like what do I have to say like as an artist? And that's really when we started working on writing for this project. I wrote for it for like 2.5, 3 years. So I had a lot of songs to choose from. But I think that, you know, this is essentially like a resume in Nashville. This is like your product and your music is what you live on, you know? And so I was like, what do I want this to sound like? What do I want to say? What's going to go all into this project? So I really put a lot of love and time and energy before I was, you know, ready to start releasing things.
I'm sure. I'm so sure. Okay, what's your process when it comes to songwriting? Like, do you have lyrics down first, or does the melody come after? Like, what's your process?
More so the lyrics come first, but a lot of times they might come at the same time. And then I am notorious for not even holding an instrument when I'm writing. I'm very much the lyric driven. Yeah, and I feel like I've been writing for so long, I can hear where the song wants to go, and I feel like I know all of the rules for songwriting, so I love to break them. And that's what makes it like when I hire musicians to play with me, they have to take time to really learn it. It's not kind of, there's always like little extra measure here or an extra line or something to keep all the listeners like, where is she going next? And I love like that feeling, especially the first time someone goes to listen to a song. It's like, what's the next part? You know, it's not predictable, and I love that. So that's kind of my process. I hear a lot, and then I'll just like push record and record myself singing it, or I come with concepts. I use Google Drive a lot. Like we all use Google Drive in Nashville, and I will write a concept down, and then I'll put a dash, and I'll put someone's name next to it, and that's who like next time
that
I
is
go
so
to
interesting.
Yeah. So next time I go on a write, I'm like, all right, I'm with Joe Slide. Joe Slide's one of my favorites. And I'm like, okay, here's all the stuff that I like have come up with since we last met that I think you and I would smash out of the park.
Oh my God, that is interesting because I wanted to ask, like, when it comes to co-writing and co-writers, like, how do you choose your perfect co-writer? And I think you just answered that.
Yeah, over the years, I've definitely have people that I go to for certain things, but I've been now writing with other artists in Nashville, and the fact that what we're getting and the stuff that we're getting and seeing them excited about the songs that we're writing is like super fun for me. Like Crystal
True.
King, who's an artist in Nashville, she just performed a song on a virtual fest last week, like right before this whole weekend, this whole, holiday weekend happened. And she made my day because she performed a song that we wrote
Oh my
together.
God, that's so cool.
And I loved
That
it.
is so cool.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
That was a
And
songwriter moment. You know what I mean? Like someone
true.
else liked it enough to sing it and
To
perform it.
cover it.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I mean, I freaking love it. If I was a singer, I would have covered it, but I don't want to butcher the song. So I'm just going to leave it at that.
You can do the lip syncing.
Oh, I will. Trust me, I will. Well, I can actually find it on Instagram sticker. I don't think it's out yet. No, on the Instagram sticker. When you add music.
Yeah, I need to figure that out. I was texting my PR company and being like,
Uh-huh.
what happened? How do I make
Yeah.
Bird available on Instagram? Because Silver, people have used Silver so many
Yeah.
times, and that's another
Silver
sassy
and
song.
got to do.
Right, but I want to be able to have Thirsty, like I have 6 singles out
Yes.
now.
Yes.
I want
Yes.
them all to be able to whatever, the feeling is, people can put music to it. So, and
Yeah.
Bird's funny in general. So I think that would lend itself to some definitely Instagram story moments.
So once it's out, you can like expect a lip sync to it. So
Okay,
keep an
perfect.
eye
Yes,
out.
I'm holding you to that.
I promise. Okay, so when you go into a co-writing session, do you always have an idea in mind, or do you just go with an open mind and cook up something? How does
Yeah.
that work for you?
That's a good question. The more that I've written with somebody, the more I come in with, like, I have ideas, but I'm
Uh-huh.
open. Like, just so open and being like, what are we feeling like today? Because I
Yeah.
was talking to someone about this recently. You never want to go against what your body is feeling. Otherwise, you're just like almost like working against yourself, So the day of, when it comes and you show up, you're like, what am I feeling like today? Like, what do I need to say? Why write a happy song if you're feeling, if it's like weirdly rainy outside and the pressure's weird and like you're just feeling different? Don't
True.
force
True.
something ever. Like, if a song feels forced, literally just stop it and be like, maybe this will be better for another day,
True.
And
True.
that, I think, saves a lot of time in the creative process, and people actually like appreciate that even more. Like, that happened to me right before I left town. I was like, you guys are awesome. This is sounding amazing, but like, we're trying to force the verses right now, and let's just like come back to it. It's clearly not like, we got a great chorus. Let's come back to it. Let's just hang out. Let's hear what you guys have been working on. Let's,
True.
and I think that's like important too.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so when you're in a co-write, there are obviously like more than 1 or 2 people writing the same song. So there are a lot of ideas between 3 heads. So how do you guys come to a common conclusion and say, okay, this sounds right? Like, is it easy?
Sometimes no. Sometimes yeah, like totally be like, yeah, that's what I'm hearing too. A lot of times, you can go. This is going to be hard to describe. You can go to. There are rules, like I said. There's like a template. So like you can go to the standard template, and then there's some of my co-writers that are willing to see all of the possibilities and kind of like keep running through it and keep like until it feels really good. And I
True.
think when you have that consensus, like the consensus feeling in the room, then you know, like, okay, let's like move on to the next part. But it's a very weird process, like creatively, and put creative heads together because we're all kind of
True.
weird in a certain way. And I
That's so
feel
true,
like,
yes.
yeah, I watched myself back on a live stream on YouTube when I was writing a song, and it's so funny to like
Wow.
afterwards know the song and see myself in the moment of trying to create it. And literally it's like my face is like this, and I'm like listening for this, for like it to come to me of what the song is. And I'm like, and I know like one line has like a couple more beats to it, and I'm like, you really
Mm-hmm.
have to honor your gut. Like when you get
True.
in that space, you're in a space where like time goes by fast and slow. You know that like one space, and you're just like making decisions left and right, and you're like in a flow. That's like you got to
Mm-hmm.
find that flow and just trust it. Like trust your gut. And when you can click with people like that in a writing room, hang on to them. Hang on to that. It doesn't feel mechanical.
Yeah.
It feels like you are entering into a creative space together. And that's, I think,
True.
why over the years doing that much co-writing, I have people that I like know that we need to do regular writes. Because when we come up
Yes.
with things together, I love it every time. Yeah.
Yeah, and I also wanted to ask, like, you have a set of people you write with and all that. So you
Yeah.
do.
One of them is called her name is Diane Waters, and she lives
Mm-hmm.
in Nashville. She writes at she's with CSAC, and I was writing monthly with her, but now we do it virtually through
Okay.
COVID and stuff. So we just continue to do it virtually, just keep everything safe for her and her
Mm-hmm.
mom. And when I heard her perform live, I knew that her style and her like bluesy kind of thing, and it's almost like an I don't even know, Americana bluesy. And I was
Nice.
like, I know that what you are doing on stage and what you sound like, and mixed with my thing, we could come up with some really good songs. And honestly, we have like 15 songs now together. One of them
Wow.
she's working on pitching, like she paid for a
That is
demo and
amazing.
everything, and she's pitching it out, and that's awesome. But we love everything we come up with, so we just keep writing. We just keep writing.
That is awesome. I love that. I love that. Okay, so out of all the songs that you have out right now, like which would you say was the hardest to write?
Ooh. Hmm. I would say Gotta Do, actually,
Oh my God.
of all the songs, because it was it's a fine line to write a song like an inspirational song and not be preachy, be like more like anthemic, like more like where people
Yeah.
want to sing along. There is a really fine line. And
Oh
so
my God.
I think we came up, like by the time we came up with the lyrics, we still needed to put a melody on it, actually. So when I was working the melody with my producer,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of sang like, you gotta do, baby. And I was like, it sounds like that. What you gotta do. And he's like,
Do.
okay. And I was like, kind of that vibes with something else. I was like, so we actually had to restructure some of the melody and like lines to fit, or we had to restructure some of the lyrics and the lines to fit the melody and the vibe that we were going for. And so that it was more
That's
of like a multiple process, multiple session kind of song. But I think it was worth it. It was worth it to kind of do some tweaking and some rewriting, because it's just a feel good song, and I continue to do that song pretty much early on in the set, because I feel like it's kind of like a summary to people of what I like to sing about, what I sound like,
true.
that kind of thing. Yeah.
Gives them an idea of who you
Yeah.
are. Yes.
And
I
sets a
love that.
tone, like sets like a very
Yes.
positive,
Definitely.
inspirational tone.
Definitely. I love that. I love that. Okay, talking to you, I want to talk to you more about your touring and live shows. You had a live show for this release, right?
Oh
Bird?
yes, I was just gonna see if I could pin this. Can you pin
Yes.
this? I don't know how to do that.
I'll pin it.
Okay, thank you. I
Yes.
can copy and paste, but I forgot to paste it. That link is for everything. Or you can go onto the Instagram page, and that link is for all the goodies, including signing up for the mailing
Awesome.
list. So
Yeah.
live shows. I did a release party for this, and I have never done that yet because I started really releasing like the music off this record during quarantine. It was like July 2020. And
True.
so I've never been able to have an in-person release party, and I went all out. I got not only candy and balloons and stuff, and we streamed it live, but the people that I asked to perform it are heavy hitters in town, and I was just so thankful that they were willing to perform at the
Do
release
it.
party. They all said yes. I mean, it was awesome. It's awesome to be in that kind of position where you get to choose who you want to celebrate with, who you want to hear, and
That's
the
so
fact
true.
that they all said yes, it just made my entire night, and they crushed it, every single one of them. And I hope that they made more connections with new people, especially my thirsties. I hope my thirsties went and followed them because of it, and just the whole thing. But it was really cool to have Chasing Melodies and to do it at Tin Roof on Demumbrian for the first time. It's a really cool partnership with both of those brands. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. And it was your first like in-person show, right? Like after the pandemic, or had
You
you
know,
performed before?
that was my first like showcase in Nashville since the pandemic. So I've been very patiently waiting, and like just now we're just starting to really open up in Nashville. I think it happened like the second week of April. So I'm starting to like, I came back to Nashville with guns blazing, like ready to perform and ready to do that, because now we all have the vaccines out and all the things, and people are feeling
True.
comfortable about going out. So I've been performing in Nashville since the second week of April. I went down to Florida a lot to perform outside at smaller acoustic shows, so people could like have their own space, and I could have my own space on stage. Because I do music full time, it was hard for me to take. I mean, I took off for a long time of not performing, but I really am like most comfortable on stage. I think because I've performed my entire life. Literally since I was 5, my first like solo, I jumped on stage
My
during a
God.
band's break when I was 4 and was singing Achy Breaky Heart. So like
Oh my
the
God.
stage, like the performance place is where I am like in my element. Like I can tell you, I don't even hear like the applause, because it's not about that for me. Like it's about
Wow.
just like shining and being my best version of myself in that moment, you know? And I think
I love.
that moment just kind of takes over, and I like don't even hear like the
Oh
applause
my
or
God.
anything. So yeah, I stayed pretty busy. Obviously COVID affected all of us, as like everybody, and not being able to perform was really hard on me. And the
True.
fact that we could do these kind of things was literally the
Yes.
only reason why I was able to survive. And you are my first now contact from India, so I'm super pumped. I like forever will remember you,
Oh my God. Yes.
and always hit you up when I release new singles and stuff, because it's so cool. Like I
For
got
sure.
introduced to a ton of like UK people and just
Yes.
a lot
Yes.
of that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. And hi, Jeff. Jeff wants you to. He wants to hear another song. Do you want to do it?
I think I could do that. Think I can definitely do that. I want to do a brand new song that is called
Yes.
Beer Song. And Beer Song is about hearing more women on country radio. And I wrote it, we were just talking about
Yay.
her, but I wrote it with Diane Waters. And I'm going to make sure I pull it up, because I don't want to get any of the chords wrong. But I just started performing this, and they're pitching it out right now. And so, yeah.
Wow.
It's called Beer Song, but don't let the title fool you. Jukebox is busted, I can't find my favorite new tune. Used to have faith, Martina and Reba to carry us through. They made me wanna sing, call me when I fell, love but fell apart. Somehow they knew my heart. Now I'm here in this bar and I wanna feel something real. I need another beer song, say something a little more strong, and get away from the not so good old days where the girl's voice says, no, you didn't hear me wrong. I still have a cold one. I need another beer song. I need another beer song. Give me a Friday night, girls night, take them by surprise kind of song. That get me through the weekday, make every Saturday last long one. How about a story where the good girls win and it's okay to believe in happy endings again? And we're rocking like we got it, 'cause girls, you know we do. I need another beer soon. Take something a little more strong and get away from the not so good old days where the girl's voice fades. No, you didn't hear me wrong. I still have a cold one. I need another beer song. I need another beer song. Rockin' like we got it, rockin' like we got it on the radio. Rockin' like we got it, rockin' like we got it on the radio. Rockin' like we got it, rockin' like we got it on the radio. Rockin' like we got it, rock it till we got it on the radio.
Oh my God, I love it.
Thank you.
I love that song. It is incredible. Are you pitching it to other artists?
Yes, I made a full-on demo of it, and they got a demo singer, and they went all out, and they are
Oh my
actively
God.
pushing that. But it's fun because it lists like Faith, Martina, Reba can carry us through.
Yes.
Like it lists all the females, and thank you so much, you guys. You guys are so sweet. So that's a new
Yes.
one. I'm still learning like how to play it, but I'm really
Mhm.
glad I could share a brand new one with you guys.
I love it.
And one
I
that
love
they're
it.
actively pitching. Good.
I love that. Okay, so since you write songs for other artists, do you already have them in mind while writing songs, or does the artist pop in after you write the song? Like, how does that work for you?
Ooh, I write it with them. So like I met
Okay.
up with an artist in person actually because my clothing sponsor is out of Denver. So I was in Denver with the Cowboy Outlets, and he's also sponsored by them. They support him. It's called 20 Hands High. And that's when like we wrote a song together called Spigot, and it's totally his vibe. And I just listened to him talk, and I'm like, what kind of ideas do you have? And I'm and I'm typing and I'm going nuts, and I am just like, okay, what, like keep talking to me, and I was like, what do you think of this? And we just go back and forth. So it is really like when you're writing for another artist, listening to them and really taking in their full like character as a person, like what songs have they released, like what, so I
True.
kind of prepare myself a lot and listen to their music that they've released so I can kind of get myself in that mode. Yeah,
I love that.
it's fun.
I love that. Okay, do you have like a favorite venue that you've performed shows at? Do you have a favorite venue?
Ooh, I love performing, the strawberry festivals of the world, like the theaters. I love all of that. But I really have to say, like, performing at the listening room, I posted some
Yes.
photos from that on my Instagram, like performing at the
I
listening room
love
for the
it.
first time. I mean, the Bluebird, yes, the Bluebird unfortunately is still closed right now. They're not like
Oh,
fully back yet because they're so tiny, so they can't fit that many people
mm-hmm.
in it.
True.
But
True.
the listening room is like just as nostalgic, and it's become the place where all of from big artists to small artists are performing.
That
So
is
the
so
fact
true.
that I've gotten to perform there 3 times in town was really,
Wow.
really special to me. Yeah, it's
I love
oh,
it.
you were in Boulder Junction. Thank you. I'm in Wisconsin right now, doing a tour, and I was just performing at Boulder Junction last Wednesday. Thank you for tuning in.
Wow. That's amazing. That's
I haven't performed in
awesome.
the UK, but that's India, the UK, Australia. I'm
Yes.
coming for you. I'm coming for you. But I would say that's
Dom,
the
we
listening
need to
room.
do a tour with these artists from UK and India and then take them over.
I
let's
would love
let's do
that.
something
I would love
when
that.
the world
Yes,
reopens. Yeah. I
absolutely.
love
So
that. I
yeah, the
love that.
listening room for sure. The
That's
listening
awesome.
room.
I've actually I've actually like caught a few live shows when Country Outdoors do it. They do a live telecast, right? So I've actually seen that show and it's amazing. I love listening room too.
Yeah, I
I
tune
love
in
it.
on Mondays sometimes for the song Suffragettes, and especially
Yes.
when my friends are performing for it too. Like I
Uh-huh.
love it, and I love that they go live, which is really cool.
Yes. Have you played at the Country Outdoors for the Country Outdoors? Have you played those shows?
The song Suffragettes, I haven't played for them yet.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
the next on the bucket list. Now that I'm
Yes.
playing more guitar for myself,
Yeah. Yes.
that's like the next thing to tackle. Also, the next thing is Whiskey Jam in Nashville. I just played
Yes.
another showcase, which was really big. It's called Bus Call, and they asked me to. I think the band did a great job, and it seemed like they were really happy, so they asked me to be a regular and come back every
Wow.
couple months. So that's a big
I
deal.
love
And
it.
then next up is Whiskey Jam, Song Suffragettes, all those things.
Yes.
So when I do get it, I will let you know when I'm performing for the Song
Yeah.
Suffragettes. I'll let
For
you know to
sure.
tune
For
in.
sure. Yes,
Yeah.
I love that. I would love that. And
Thank
good
you.
luck on
That's
the
awesome.
whiskey jam. I have no doubt that you'll get a chance to play at the whiskey jam. So keep at
I
it.
I have this feeling, I just feel like when you keep your eyes on what you want to go
Really want?
after, and you
Yeah.
just put your whole being into it. I mean, I think we're definitely there and at that level, especially rocking out with a full band.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we're there. So I just need to email them and get over my
Yes.
like
Yes.
fear of reaching out. I just need to make it happen.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you should. You totally should. And do you have like a favorite memory that's ever happened to you during these live shows or whenever you were on tour? Do you have like a favorite memory?
You know, I was I was being interviewed. What comes to mind first? I was being interviewed by Smash FM out of Australia, and
Uh-huh.
he was so sweet, and he asked me, "What's the silliest thing that's ever happened to you on stage?" And like that question you don't get asked very often, so you might want to add that to your because it was.
Yes.
I told him the story, and I told him that I was at this very specific venue called When Pigs Fly, and I got
Uh-huh.
humped by a dog while I was singing. And he
What?
like, and he started laughing even harder than I expected, but it's because he knew the venue. He had been to the venue that I was talking about, and he knew the
Oh my
dog
God.
that I was talking about. He had witnessed this himself. So like it was such a funny moment to try to be explaining this moment to somebody and then having them be like, no, I know exactly what you're talking about. It was so
That is so
crazy
funny.
that he had been there of all the places because it's kind of like a hidden gem in Nashville. But they do
That is
have this
great.
big dog that
Oh my
if
God.
he likes you, he'll come and hump you. So yeah,
I love that.
that was like a pretty embarrassing, weird moment for me because I'm like, do I stop performing right now? Do I obviously I need to address this? Like, how do I get him off me?
That is
It was
crazy.
great.
That is so crazy. That is
Yeah.
so crazy. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yes.
And yeah, and do you have like a favorite artist you want to tour with?
Oh man, I always said my mom had a vision that I would be touring with Dirks Bentley, and I
Oh my God.
love his music. He was like the biggest thing, when I was
Yes.
really crossing over, especially listening to all of those like Billy Currington and all of those artists.
Yes.
So Dirks Bentley, I've heard a lot of good things about them. Brad Paisley is also another one of my favorites. Um,
For sure.
but yeah, there's so many to choose from. Like I really like Brett Eldridge. I really like John Party. I feel like John
Yes.
Party has really fun songs. So then I would come in and I would do all my fun songs, and I just feel like that would fit. That'd be like so a good pairing. But then there's also like Randy Houser and Zach Brown
Yes.
and people that just smash it out of the
Just
park
too
live, and I would
many.
love to learn from them. So really any big tour that I could get on, I'm ready.
I love that. I love that. Okay, what's your post-show ritual? Like, what do you do after a show?
Ooh, after show, like after 5 days that I just did up north in northern Wisconsin in the woods, like in the
Uh-huh.
sticks, in the boondocks, by my
Oh my
cabin.
God.
What I love to do, especially if I've worked my muscle so much, get ice cream. Ice cream is like the
Interesting.
best to coat the throat, to wind down. Otherwise, it's just like some green tea or any sort of tea with
Mhm.
honey helps a lot. But it's really helpful to warm down. So instead of warming up and doing like all those weird sounds, like warm
Yeah,
down is like and you like sit
that
in
is
those
super
low
interesting.
notes. And when you're in low notes, your vocal cords are really they're getting like a massage essentially. So it's really
Wow.
good to do. And of course, just drink lots of
Ton of
water. I
water.
just have like a ton of water right next to me. But
I
yeah.
love it. I love it. Do you have like upcoming shows that you want people to know about? Any live shows, any virtual shows that you want
Yes.
people to know about?
Yes. On the virtual docket, I don't remember anything coming up off the top of my head. I am gonna be at the radio station tomorrow that you can tune in just on their website, to WJVL 99.9, and that's my hometown radio station. I'm
Yay.
going to be performing at Lynchburg. I'm flying back to Nashville in between this tour to perform at the big Lynchburg Music Fest where they make Jack Daniels. And Cody Jinks is on the same night as
Oh my
me.
God.
Harmony. It's a really good lineup. I'm going to be performing
Wow.
prime time at 5:15 with a full band. So I'm
That's
so
awesome.
excited. So excited. That's
I so
July.
wish I could come.
That's this weekend already, which is awesome.
That
And
is
then I'll be
amazing.
posting also about a big country music festival coming up the end of August. It's called Country in the Berg. But I keep all of my shows and everything updated. So check the website out.
Uh-huh.
Check that link out on the bio of my Instagram, and just join us for a live show because
Yes,
lots of
guys, head
dates
on
coming up.
over there.
Yeah.
Yes, I so wish I could come watch you live in Nashville, like the country festival. It would be so
It
cool.
will happen. It will happen.
I
We'll
have my
get you to
toes, my
Nashville.
fingers, everything that I can crossed, because I really want to get down there. Yes,
I love it.
everything. I
I
love
love
it.
it.
Okay, so what's your favorite part about being an artist?
Ooh. I love to be able to travel and meet new people. I think
Yeah.
that's my favorite part. I always knew that, the business, like the music business, it says business in it. It's very much business. It's about relationships. So I love to be able to get close with people and bond over something that we are both so passionate about. Like you and me, we
Yes.
love country music. Like I've
Yes.
listed a bunch of artists and you knew who I was talking about. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
that's
Yes.
way cool. Like I feel like we've listened to songs. We like, I say Billy Currington, we can picture some of his songs. Like I think that music does bring people together. Music makes people
That's so
feel
true.
things. Music
That is
helps
so true.
people through things. And the fact that you can meet people through music, and the fact that I can travel the country and
Yeah.
eventually the world because of my passion is like it's the best. It's the best. Really,
I
people
love.
for me fuel my energy. Like, I'm not a homebody.
Mhm.
I like to be out at whatever event there is. I want to be there. So I think that's my favorite part.
I love that. I love that. I'm a homebody until there's a concert playing somewhere. Otherwise, I'm out of the room. Otherwise, I
There you
love being
go.
at home. But if I have a concert to attend every day, I would do it. I would just go. But India is
Love it.
just opening right now, like at least my city. So
Okay.
hopefully we
Do you
get
have
that
any
shows back.
tickets? Now that it's just
Yes.
started open, do you have any tickets for a future concert that you're like, let's go?
Uh, Sadly, there's no like country artist that's coming down. Like,
Okay.
not even one country singer has come down to India, which is really sad. That's what I'm hoping to change. But
Yeah.
yeah, other than that, we do have like a few local country bands that do country music here in India. So hopefully they come down and
Yes.
play as a gig, and that would be fun. But yeah, as far
I'll have
as
to
the
message you.
international artists. Sorry?
Yeah. I'll have to message you about that because I'd love to connect with the country bands that are based out of
Yes.
India. So
Yes,
I'll have
for
to ask you
sure.
about
For
that.
sure. For
Yeah.
sure. For sure. I think one of them is already listening, watching. Winston, if you're here, just say hi.
Hey, Winston.
But
I'd
yeah,
love to meet
we
you.
do. Yes, we do have a couple of country bands that put on a good show. Hopefully they come
That's
down to my
awesome.
city and play. So yeah.
Yes. That's
And
awesome.
and for you, like looking forward 5 years from now, where would you want to see yourself?
5 years from now, I want to perform
Uh-huh.
on the Opry stage whenever they will have me.
Yeah.
I want to already be named Next Women of Country. I want to have
Uh-huh.
another record like out. I want to just release as much music as humanly possible and be able to play like just full band around the country all the time in a
Yeah.
massive RV where we bring, all of our own equipment and we just put on one hell of a show. And
Mhm.
I have like at that point, I'll be like, what songs am I gonna sing? Like, because I have so many.
Yes.
I feel like I have that problem now trying to choose a set list, but at that point, I guess my goal is just keep making it harder for myself to choose a set list.
True. That is so true. I love that. I love the way you put that. I love it.
Yeah, make it hard.
And yes, I love it. Okay,
Tour the
can
world,
you tell us
yes.
like a fun fact about you that nobody knows?
Uh, I okay, so I did see this because I was watching a little bit of you and Darian talking, so I knew you were gonna ask this. Um, I
Oh,
grew up, like straight up, grew up on Honey Nut Cheerios. Like not regular Cheerios,
oh
they
my
had to be Honey Nut Cheerios. And I was like a freak about it. I used to eat a bowl of Honey Nut Cheerios every single morning from really the time I was like 2, I started eating them, but it was every school morning from
wow.
elementary school to high school. I ate Honey Nut Cheerios.
That is
That
crazy.
was my
Do you still
breakfast.
eat it now? If you had this, like,
Oh
is that
yeah.
your favorite cereal even now?
Oh yeah, I don't switch it up. That's just like one thing that's like to me, that's what cereal should taste like. And that's what I have is Honey Nut Cheerios. So I always have 1 or 2 boxes of Honey Nut Cheerios at home, ready to go, just in
Oh
case
my
I
God.
get that
Oh my
craving.
God. Now I know what to keep stacked up like if you ever come here. So
Yes, yes, it totally. That's breakfast to me. I don't eat it every day, but I straight up every day, and I would like write them letters, and yeah.
I love it. I love it. Mine's the cinnamon toast crunch. I love cinnamon toast
That's
crunch,
your jam?
and it's
Okay.
so difficult to find it here. Like it's either too expensive or it's like out of
Really?
stock or something.
So that
Yeah.
I will have to bring in my bag.
Yes. That
I will.
I love it.
Cinnamon toast
That
crunch.
and
Is it
Kraft mac and cheese.
Ooh,
The Kraft
okay.
mac and cheese.
All right, I'll
Those are
remember
my
that.
guilty pleasures from them. Yes,
And Honey
I
Nut
love
Cheerios
it.
is the
Okay,
best. I agree.
yeah.
They're all saying they agree with me. I thank you guys. I'm glad you like it too. Oh my gosh, this
I
has
love
been
it.
so much fun.
Same here. I love talking to you. I loved everything. But what's the best advice you've ever received?
The best advice is
Mm-hmm.
don't sign anything and for like unless you get to know somebody for a while. Like so kind of
Mm-hmm.
do the whole dance and kind of work
Uh-huh.
with them a little bit for like at least 6 months to a year before you sign anything. And the first sign that
That's so
you have, if it's not working out, to just address it right away. When anyone's running a small business, I think it's really important
mm-hmm.
on who you work with, especially when there's only like
True.
5 of you, that you need to make
That's
sure
so true.
that everyone is on board with the vision and doing their job and 100% invested. And if they're not, then don't feel worried about parting ways if you need to. I
That
think
is
that's
so
the
true.
best
I love
advice.
that. I've never heard that. So thank you so much for that.
Yes. Thank you, Jeff.
And before I let you go, like I know you host shows as well, you interview artists, you're the co-host for Backstage Pass. So what is your favorite question to ask artists that I might have not asked, and can you answer that?
Okay. I I kind of switch it up. We do like a rapid fire thing, kind of how you do at the end. So
Uh-huh.
I love to ask artists what is the first song they ever wrote, especially if I can tell that they're like really into the songwriting. And if they're not, I ask them what's the first song that you've ever performed on stage.
Like,
So I'll
oh
kind of
my God.
answer both. The first song I
Uh-huh.
ever wrote, I was like 8 years old, and it's called Holding On to Heaven. And I wrote it with my sister,
Oh,
and we were jumping up my
oh, that's
parents'
so cute.
bed, like writing this little chorus. And she, since for Christmas, like a couple years ago, got me like a big canvas of it written out, like the lyrics written out. And
Wow.
I, of course, bawled
That's
my
so
eyes
cool.
out. Yeah, and then
That is so
the
cool.
so it was very like it was religious based, and then the first song I ever performed on stage, like on a stage, was "Achy Breaky Heart." I was trying to mimic what the band had
Believe
just
me.
got done performing, and so I jumped on at 4 years old, and I was like, "Go and tell my heart, my achy breaky heart," and I just like kept singing that
I love
over
it.
and over. So I don't even know
I
if you'd
love
call it
it.
like a full song. But yeah, I love asking that question because I feel like some people remember those moments like really well.
Yes, yes. I actually wrote down what's your first song you ever wrote. I think it slipped my mind.
I love it. I love it. And I also ask, how do you take your coffee? Because I feel like everyone is like super unique about what they do. Or
Uh-huh.
like what kind of coffee. So I've gotten on coffee tangents with artists, that's for sure. Because everyone drinks
How do you
coffee,
take your
right?
coffee?
Like I
Yeah.
I drink like some sort of Folgers or like Door County. Like this morning, I had some Door County hazelnut,
Uh-huh.
which is amazing
Uh-huh.
coffee. And then I put almond milk in it, like the vanilla that I get from Costco. And then I put sugar.
I
So
love
I
it.
just do like
People
almond
here
milk
drink
and sugar.
coffee way differently. Like people here drink
How?
coffee way differently. Yeah, we have like a
How do they
whole
do it?
different process.
Really?
Yeah, it's called filter coffee. Like you have to look it up. And
Okay.
if you get that device, like that filter coffee device where you can make your own concoction, you need to try it out. It's I can't live without coffee, so yeah.
I
I'll
bet you
vouch
it's a
for
lot
that.
stronger. It
Yes,
sounds
it
like
is. It is a
it's a
lot
lot
stronger.
stronger.
Yes. Yes.
I'd be like,
Way, way.
I'd be like ready to go, doing all the emails and everything at the same time.
It is way,
Yeah,
way different. I love chatting
I'll
with
look it
you,
up.
Kirstie. Thank you so much for taking the time. And would you want to add anything else that I might have missed out on?
I wanna add a big thank you. I know that there's a lot of
Oh,
faces that have tuned in that I was not familiar with.
Yes.
And I want to thank you for being willing to have me today and everything that you're doing to bring country music, because there are people in India that do love country music and they're
Yes.
streaming it, and they are very loyal to country music. So without your platform, people, independent artists like us, would not be introduced to people. So just a huge thank you to you for what you're doing, because I'm on, I reached out to you. Like this, what you're
Yes.
doing is not going unnoticed. So this is super awesome. Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Thank you so much. That means like the whole world to me. And I cannot wait to meet you once I get to Nashville, hopefully soon. So yeah, I'll see you soon, and I'll definitely keep in touch and wait for more music from you.
Yes, more music is definitely coming. This full record will be dropping later this year. You can get it on the website if you want the printed copy. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in, and I can't wait to give you more and more music. Like as much music as I can possibly release. That is my game plan for life.
I love that. Would you want to plug in all your social medias before where people can find you and your stuff?
Yes, the link in my bio on Instagram is where you can find all the links to things. Also, I am so close to reaching 5,000 organically, meaning I've never done the follow on follow. I've never done anything like that. This is just people I've met that want to join my musical journey. So feel free to help me share out the single and reach 5,000 and then some, and then I'll have another goal after that. But I'm on Instagram. I'm on all the social media platforms under Kirstie Kraus, and it's Kirstie, like you pronounce it like thirsty. But yeah, just feel free to look me up on whatever platform: TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We got music videos on there, all the things.
Thank you so much. I love talking to you, like I said, and I'll definitely keep in touch and have you back on.
Perfect. Sounds great to me. Same. I will let you know when I'm releasing new music, and we'll get you on the PR mailer, all that stuff. And thank you guys. I appreciate all the new faces.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.
Talk to you soon.
Yes. So that was Kirstie Kraus, guys. Go stream her music. Go give her a follow. She's on the road to 5,000 organic followers. So do that. And thank you so much for everybody tuning in. All your sweet comments. I'll see you guys soon. And yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dom. Thank you so much, Jeff, Lee, everybody tuning in and who stayed on. So thank you so much. This was really fun. I'll see you guys soon.